One of my favorite movies growing up was Hook. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but there you go. And I think part of what made Hook so great, there's lots of things, but one of them was Bob Hoskins, man. Bob Hoskins I always liked his performances. Um, and so I was about to use an opening from Hook that Bob Hoskins, i.e. Shmi, the character Shmi in Hook, says. Just is so great, man. It's so great. Good morning, Neverland! And that's where we're at right now. We're in Neverland, you guys. So I'm walking. I'm starting a new one. I got a drawing. I did some calibrations, and so I can flip the camera, which is going to be so necessary. I tried to see it in a different way, and it wasn't going to work. And so I'm walking, obviously on the road, on the go. For now, my content's always going to be unedited. You know, I like this stuff. And I like listening to it too. And so when other people are doing the same, I actually like it, especially if it's fluidic. If it's not fluidic, it doesn't work as well. It has to be natural too. A lot of people like performing. It's kind of lame. I'm sorry. But it usually comes from insecurity. That's why. If you're performing from a place of like, I don't know, enjoying it, it's so different. Anyway, so many things, you guys. I'm excited. This is great. I'm so glad I get to share this with you. I know the camera stuff is janky. I ended up listening a little bit to the video that I made yesterday, and it sounded okay. And I try to keep it close for camera stuff, for privacy issues, you guys. Especially with like we need to show, like maybe it's a non-duality kind of a thing, but I feel like collectively we kind of need to show ourselves collectively that a lot of things are neutral. A streamer is just a streamer. Someone who posts content is just someone who posts content. I think a lot of people have become jaded, and I understand. I'm one of them. I'm really one of them, you guys. I still listen to content. I watch subscribers, you guys. You know, there's content and stuff, and they're trying to make a living. They're trying to survive. I get that vibe. I totally get that vibe, you guys. I'm not as concerned about that vibe. What I'm really, I guess, focused on is bringing in this energy, guys. It's this energy, and it's this understanding and this awareness. And like, oh God, it's so beautiful. Let me try if I can do that, because I can switch it. So here we go. It's probably not going to be as good. Oh man, it does not do it justice. It does not do it justice. The camera's okay, but man, the actual vision of it's much more beautiful. And so I'm walking to the spot where I started yesterday. I was gonna start earlier, but then there were just planes and other stuff, and I don't want to talk over anything, you know. On a related note, if I'm ever interrupted or someone confronted while I'm talking, I'm just gonna keep it running. I'm probably not going to show the person directly unless unless I talk to them and they're cool and they want it. But that's that. So I'm just going to keep it running, and we'll just kind of see what happens from there. Because life is crazy, you guys. You don't always know what's going to happen, and that's okay. And what happens is part of what it needs to happen. Then. Here's another car coming, and then I'm going to cross over, and then, man, I love that nature spot, you guys. I love it. So no cars, crossing over, and I love walking too, you guys, seriously. Like, I think a lot of people, like Americans especially, you know, cars are great. I think there's a lot of issues that we need to talk about with cars. Keeps people trapped, keeps people enslaved, especially financially. I mean, if I have any, I'm a bare bones kind of a person, and I think that's why I'm in this position right now. I've been wanting to do stuff like this forever, you guys, but it also comes from a place where I want to come from the right place. You know, I don't want to just talk abundance or great life or whatever. I want to be it. And so much of it, I think, is having the right kind of energy. the right kind of attitude. And I would say that's even more important than like any kind of technical related stuff, because it's that sun. I love this spot, you guys. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that freaking beautiful? We can just drop that. We can just drop where we're going with that. There's the biggest thing that we need to change is ourselves, and a lot of it has to do with perspective. I'm not going to say entirely, but it's just like a lot of it. Because that perspective is what creates the future that we're living into and what we see as possible. I want to talk about specific examples, but it's one of those things where I also want to honor people's privacy. And so I can say I know somebody who I've known for a very long time, and I love them dearly, and they have had a hard time, I think, seeing perspective for what it is. They listen to a lot of different news sources and channels, but they're like, I get to talk about that too. They're not in the best of vibes. They're capable of it. But it's difficult for them, and I can see him struggling. And so on that level, we can start to get this. I want to get all comfortable. What do we got? 6 minutes, perfect. We got so much time. You guys. All right, I'm gonna open my tea. Got that. It's a beautiful day. You can tell, right? The sun's shining. It's freaking gorgeous. It's gorgeous out here. So glad to be here. I'm gonna take off my hoodie here too. My ears are warm enough. It's beautiful. Just a little bit of wind, not too much. I think we'll be left alone too, and it is what it is. I aim for privacy, private session for us, but what happens. It'll be part of the experience. So I'm gonna start to get that out. One of the things, I try to have a focus. I was going to talk a little bit about myself, more my past and everything. Just little snippets here and there. I don't know what else to do. I could make a documentary and stuff, but at this point it doesn't matter. It'd be for my sake, and for all I fucking know, these videos and stuff, it is for my sake, and so I'm happy with that. You guys. Yeah. There's trash here. Vagrants crossing. I brought a bag so I can pick it up. It's one of the things I get where people are coming from. It's just disrespectful. Just people from disrespectful parts. Alright. So, I'm going to talk about it a little bit, and then I got some drawings. I'm Simon, and I like to do drawings. Old reference. So I try to simplify things. This is based upon understanding. You could say it's from firsthand experience. You can say it's from downloads, channeled material, if that's your thing. I'm not against the idea of channeling, and I wouldn't say I'm for it. It's kind of more of like a neutral thing. So much is the content of the vibrations of the stuff that I'm listening to, because if people are talking and they're saying they're channeling and I'm, it's vibing with me, then it's vibing with me. If people are saying it's from experience or something else, and I'm vibing with it, I'm vibing with it. I don't necessarily care about how it's presented to me. It's more about what is being presented to me. And that's going to be a lot of me. If you're going to listen to my channel, you're probably going to see me tackle things from several different angles, but I'm going to focus on the same kind of thing. So it's hard to explain, but it's just like I'm going to show like multiple different angles and stories and words and languages to explain the same thing. And I think that's important. It's really important that we all collectively start to understand that a lot of the things that we have seen as different are actually just like flavor text, man. It's not game changing. It's not game breaking. It's not like a difference that's really that big of a difference. But there are subtle differences that are very, very important at the same time, and that's why you got to read between the lines. You just got to read between the lines. And so I'm breaking this down from an understanding which is kind of collectively agreed upon. And so it's kind of out now. I'm glad we got the information going on, right, you guys? Where we got people are understanding it's a vibrational world. And so, and myself included with that. I've been somewhat stuck in the vibration of struggle, of like survival struggle. And I think most other people have been too. And I get to talk about it. And so, but even more than showing, I gotta talk more about it. These vibes are, it's like a sea of vibes, you guys. To be able to qualify and label certain vibrations, it can be fun. And to a certain extent, we can do that. I know people have done that with elemental symbols. You change hertz on vibrations. I don't know if you've ever researched any of that stuff or seen some of the stuff, but you put sand or water, and then you vibrate it to a certain frequency, and it'll change shape. So there's a certain extent that we can kind of see, but even then, it's different. It's different than what I think some of the more material-minded people tend to believe. Because if I was to say anything, I think the most material-minded people are missing the biggest biggest factor, and that's part of the game, guys. That's part of the game. If you want to ask me, keeping my low voice, right? Conspiratorial tones. All right, enough fun there. So I'm simplifying this. So remember, there's only one absolute. So this is just flavor text. This is just a way to be able to present the information that I'm being given, and to make it digestible. So I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to just point to things and explain things. I only got 2 pages for now. It was drawn on my bed, which is on the floor. I don't have a box spring. I don't have a mattress. And didn't have a writing desk or like a lap desk. I used to have one of those. I don't have anymore. And so so it's a little messy in some places, but it's workable. That's workable. All right, let's go. So it should still be running. I'm gonna try to pan it back, so these are about vibes, guys. And so I'm kind of oversimplifying things, but one of the things that I remember hearing, let's talk more. One of the things I remember hearing from several different people and several different sources and information, and it's to simplify things. It's not like this. So always read between the lines, guys. That's why I always say there's only one absolute. When I say it's always this way, it's a good amount that way. It's a good amount that way. There's, always and never. So anyway, right? Three kinds of people. People who can see, people who can see when shown, and people who cannot see. And I'm changing this into the vibrational frequency kind of talk. And so I'm going to say there's people who are high vibes, there's people who are mid vibes, and there's people who are low vibes. And so, and I'm establishing for the sake of this conversation that you kind of come in with a dominant vibe. And so if you come in as a high vibe person, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't be or experience lower vibes. It's more like that's your natural frequency. And so what your natural frequency is what you're comfortable with and what you're used to. And so there's no moving too far outside of your frequency range isn't good. It just isn't good. It doesn't matter either direction. And I'll try to explain this in some of the drawings too. But there's a certain formula that's going on here, and it can actually work like a fractal. and that's the purpose. That's the purpose, is so that it can reach through infinity, and that's a big portion of why this is so important. So where was I? High vibes, right? The 3 kinds of people: high vibe, mid vibe, low vibe. And so we're gonna go with that, and we're gonna start. So gotta get this further out here. There we go. That looks good. I think you can hear me still. And so high vibes, right? Magnificence. I started everything with an M because it just worked. And so we got mid vibes, which is meh. And then we got, low vibes, which is misery. And so I made certain symbols to symbolize those just for now. I just made them up on the fly. And so this is, a high vibes person. And then this would be a mid vibes person. And then this is a low vibes person. And so here's the vibrational spectrum. And so, especially, and this is really more for the context of Earth, all right, you guys? And so people who are high vibes, when they're in their own frequency, it's like, oh my gosh, you guys, these are the people who are just so inspiring. They're just so honest and genuine and authentic. They're rooted in their power. They've got a good sense of self, but they're still understanding and compassionate of others. I'm drifting there. But if a high vibe person's in their element, that's where it's beautiful. And so they can reach higher, and then they can also reach lower just by existing. They're actually kind of existing on a spectrum which is beyond their actual frequency. So I'm just making up numbers here. But if a high vibe person, vibrates at a 3 frequency, they actually reach to the 2 and the 4 frequency. And so maybe I'll number that in another drawing. But you get what I'm saying, right? And so by doing this, you actually reach a lower link in the chain just by being yourself. So as a high vibe person, it's important, as any person, it's really important to be yourself. Even as a low vibe person, it's really important to be yourself. And I'll explain this more as I keep going. And so we, as high vibe people, will reach mid vibe people. Now, one of the biggest things is that we don't want to reach too low. And I think this is what a lot of people in our profession, in our light worker, caring, compassionate, empathetic, high vibe people, right? We're high vibe people. We have wanted to save the low vibe people, and that is just like it's an interesting thing because oh my gosh, they are saving us, you guys. These low vibe people are saving us, but in a fucked up, excuse my language, but just like in a screwed up way, you guys. They're saving us, but in a screwed up way by being themselves. And so I'll get to that in a second. But so maybe we should even just get into that. Skipping the mid vibe people, we're going directly to the low vibe people, and these are people who don't see. So it's just like, I'm going to steal from you because I can. Yeah, I'm going to take from you because I want to. And there's no sense of consequences, really. It's really a state of like pure ignorance, is what I would say. And it's very interesting because it's interesting. Sometimes we get born into families. I can switch that for now. Sometimes we get born into families as high vibe people, and the rest of our families are mid vibe or low vibe, and that's just it is what it is. I think it's so that we get exposed to the energies, and then we can be done with them. Like, rather than, because I think potentially wise, especially with high vibe people, if we were born in a high vibe family, we would probably isolate in a good way with each other, and then there would just be no growth for anything or anybody or anyone. And a large reason, I believe, why high vibe people are here, it is so we can grow and learn as individuals too, because we always, as individuals, we can always, there's room for improvement. There's always room for improvement, and it's a fun thing. That's the key factor I want to say, is that it's boring. It's boring, you guys, not improving yourself. It's boring not challenging yourself. It's a fate worse than death. We get to rest. We get to have rest too. Like sometimes improving yourself is allowing yourself to rest. That's the beauty of this. That's why I keep coming back to this. There's only one absolute. And so low vibe people are never going to get it. They're never going to get it. And this is something which is very important to understand. And I know I might get flack from this, and it's about respecting that and understanding that, because there's I have to say there's two different ways to see it, and so and there's probably many more as you understand. But I would say the two main ways that I particularly see it is low vibe people. Either they're like babies, man. They're like soul babies. They're ignorant. They got to explore the extremes of the negatives, and it's kind of like a pressure cooker, where they're going to have to experience the consequences of their actions in order to grow. If you don't experience the consequences of your actions, then nothing's going to change. But you're going to keep doing the same thing, thinking that everything's great, And this is where I'm leading to this too. Let me flip it over. The high vibe people have, and the mid vibe. Okay, it's kind of like everything. Like mid vibe, so important, you guys, so important. But anyway, where was I going with this? Sometimes it just comes in and out, you guys. And so anyway, if we're just going to kind of move on, we all connect with each other, and there's always a purpose. Low vibe people, I would say, cannot be reached. These are things like the current, I think, labels for low vibe people would be like narcissists, black hole people, NPCs, and there's variations of that too. Main character syndrome. The funny thing is, and I really want to get into with all this too, is, we'll just flip it back here. A lot of the language. We have to look between the lines, you guys, because people are going to use different language, and we can't just dismiss what people say based upon their language alone. This is coming from someone who has listened to a lot of, I would say, Christian-oriented people, and so their language is very Christian-oriented. I've been exposed to a lot of that. I even joined a few cults, let's say, that were Christian-oriented, even though they would say they were different than Christianity. But it's neither here nor there. And that some of the things that people say can be hidden through language, and that this goes on both sides. And so, if you're a Christian, like, look for like what I would call Christ vibes in what people are saying. Like, Christ will come through whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. He's not going to come through just the Christians. All right, and as Christians, we would have to understand that if we think that Christ is only going to come through Christians, then we don't understand what Christ is, and then we in that, using that language, we still have yet to be saved. And the other flip side of that is that a lot of shit's been done, like a lot of crap's been done, you guys. A lot of crap's been done with religion, just like a lot of different things, and very, I would say, ungodly things have been done in the name of God, and so that's good to acknowledge. That has to be acknowledged. And like, so much of me loves the story of Christianity, you guys. You just got to read between it, because it's a story. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying something like that, but it's a good story, and it's a necessary story. It's a story of archetypes. You just got to read between the lines, because I would also say this book, the Bible, has been reinterpreted many different ways. It's been changed. There's also certain Mandela effects if you want to get into this stuff like that. And so I think all of this starts to lead toward the same thing. Never take any particular source with absolute certainty. All right, for anything, and I would say except for the one absolute. And there's nuance to that, but I hope you understand what you're saying, that we can place our trust in something which is a part of us and beyond us, but not at the same time. And I know it sounds paradoxical, but as you as we continue to explore these kind of energies, it's going to be obvious. It becomes more and more obvious the more you just open yourself up to it, which is great. And so the whole point of the high vibe, low vibe thing, for that portion of it was to kind of just explain what I already did. We can reach each other. And so, and that was the other aspect that I didn't get into yet. And so if low vibe people are just, they need to be shown, they can't be enabled is the biggest thing. If they are, they will just continue to take, and they will hurt the other mid and higher vibe people in their taking, and they won't stop. They will not stop. You have to understand that. There's no point in giving them your energy and lowering your vibration to their vibration, because what they will end up doing is keeping you down from your natural state. So you're going to be weakened, so you're going to be disempowered. They're going to get a rush off of it too. Because it's like a drug. I don't know what else to say. And I'll try to talk about it maybe in some other ones to explain why. Oh my God, it's raining again, you guys. All right. What the fuck? All right, let me try to be quick here. So I had some more drawings. I'm going to kind of put it up for now. It is beautiful. You saw the sun? You saw the sun, you guys? I know it's freaking raining. All right. I think I'll be okay. We'll just keep going, right? We said we'll just do with whatever. Whoa, it's hailing, you guys. It's still cold outside. And so here's the other perspective, which is not going to be popular. It's not going to. I already know it's not going to be popular, but it's a perspective which we need to consider, I think, to move on and to end up being what I would say grateful for low vibe people, is because I believe that there is a contingency of souls who volunteered to be low vibe people, and so they were at a state of evolution that they decided, you know what, I'm going to come in as a low vibe person, as a black hole person, and I'm just going to feed off of fucking everybody. I'm just going to feed off of everyone as much as I possibly can. And the reason for that is so people gain boundaries. Like believe it or not, in these kind of cases, I'm trying to keep my phone dry here. In these kind of cases, they're teaching us, you guys, they're showing us a lesson. And so these people are trapped, all right? Whether you see them as good or bad, as enlightened or, scum of the earth, these people are trapped. And so the way to free them is to starve them. You need to starve them, all right? When there's no need for black hole people, when there's no need for low vibe people anymore, they'll cease to exist, all right? And if that never happens, that never happens, all right? So we got to let that go as anyone who's not low vibe. If we're not low vibe, we just got to let go. Low vibe people will exist, and they exist for a reason, all right? They will always exist. There will never not be low vibe people. There might not be low vibe people in our current vibration, which is good. I don't see any low vibe people around me right now, you guys. Shit, I'm in the high vibes. I'm in the high vibes in the nature, getting hailed on. It's great. It's fantastic. I know, I just lost my train of thought. It's just great, guys. I mean, seriously, who would have thunk? Who would have thunk, you guys? Got to keep myself a little bit dry. So, yeah. And so that's the big thing. Like, don't like, if you're in the thick of it, I've been isolated for a while, and don't get me started, you guys. Don't get me started. I understand. Dealing with low vibe people when you're still in the process of I guess getting the education is hell, man. It's hell. It's absolute hell. Like, I ain't gonna mince it. I ain't gonna mince words. It's hell. It's absolute hell. Because these people are in hell, and they're gonna project it on you, and they're gonna make you believe that their thoughts are your thoughts. They're gonna claim your goodness is theirs. I mean, it is like upside down clown world when you're with these low vibe people, you guys. Like I can't even begin to explain what it's like. And I mean like true low vibe people. Like people I think traditional Christian circles would say like they're demonically possessed or something. just because it is just such a distinct lack of empathy. It's such a distinct lack of empathy, and it's one of those things where I have great respect for low vibe people, and I leave them alone for the most part. And it's one of those things, like, if they mess with me, they will get fucked up. Excuse my language, but they'll get screwed up, you guys, if they mess with me. But I'm not looking to mess with them. That's just the whole thing. They get their space, I get my space. We're all good. Everything's all good. They can't touch me. I'm not going to touch them. They're fine. They mess with me, they're gonna get screwed up. It's just how it is, and it's not even through my hands. Like, that's what everyone's got to understand and see what they're connected with. Is that when you really connect with, as a high vibe person, when you connect with your high vibes, nobody can touch you guys. And so much of this, like I'm making the videos for, I would say, for high vibe people. I don't think mid vibe people are really gonna understand what I'm saying. If you're on the higher mid vibe end, you might be understanding what I'm saying, or at least liking the vibe that I'm putting out, which is great. And that's also to explain that too. Even with the paradigm that I created with the high, mid, low vibe, as high vibe people, we can always, this is about reaching higher, because as we link hands energetically, vibrationally, and we get in touch with our own authentic vibration, it resonates, and then it resonates with everybody else, like I was saying. And it's a chain that reaches through infinity. And this is also why low vibe people serve a purpose. They serve a purpose. And so the best way to understand that is to not focus on them unless you are one of them, and just focus on yourself. It's to always focus on yourself, your own vibration, your own energy. And I know and people say, oh, you got to stay high vibe and everything. With the format that I said, it's about connecting with your own vibes. It's about connecting with your authentic vibration of your natural state. And so my interpretation is that if you're naturally attuning with your own current vibration, you're going to you're gonna naturally improve. I don't know how else to say. Where it's just like things are gonna just get better and better and better, and there's always going to be more challenges, but those challenges are always going to be obtainable, like go throughable. And the biggest thing, I feel like, where it's just like maybe there's infinite tiers or levels above high vibes, but the high vibe situation it's like graduation, where it's just like, yes, there's always more things to learn, but the really, really harsh, distrust, confusion about existence, about life, about oneself, that's all here. That's all in the low to mid vibe range. As soon as we break through and we get into high vibes, then almost vibes don't matter anymore. It's almost just like whatever's authentic. Because you're just going to go through stuff at that point. And this might make sense to people, and it might not make sense to people, and I understand that. All I can do is present the information as I'm given it. So, what are we at? 33. Yeah, guys. It's been exciting. It's been exciting. I'm spreading out my wings. I might try to do more than just one video a day. It's crazy. It takes a long time to upload these. And so I not only do I have to film it, but then I got to upload it. And it's good, freaking technology, going through the air. So I shouldn't complain too much. I guess we can even end it early. I mean, it's not raining that much or anything. I don't know what to say. I'm gonna pick up some of the trash, I think, around here. Yeah, keep on going, you guys. About the vibes and everything. It's about connecting with your own vibes, being true, going easy on yourself. It's stuff which but it's good to hear from someone else sometimes, just to kind of confirm it, because you'll also get a lot of I'm going to say, mid-low vibe people saying, you got to work harder. What are you doing? I don't get what you're doing, which it's where they're at. It's where they're at. As you get more solidified in your own vibration, you're just going to see people whenever they're talking to you, they're really seeing themselves, and they're really projecting almost everything onto you. Like very, very few times are people not projecting on somebody in our society. So there's that, and that's freeing too. That's very, very freeing, you guys. Where so much of what I was told about myself just wasn't true, because it was the projections of low vibe, mid vibe people onto me. And low vibe people, they taught me some very important lessons, but I'm going to very much say, I would say the hardest wounds that I received were from mid vibe people. And it was because I could tell they cared. If someone doesn't care, it makes things a little bit easier, especially if you got the discernment to be able to really tell that they don't freaking care. They might show outward signs of caring, but they really don't care. And so, especially as you get more intuitive and tapped into emotions, it's obvious. It's freaking obvious. They might make overtures that seem like they care, but it's so surface. It's so surface. And so that's a different kind of a wounding. When you have people who are projecting on you, and they love you, they care about you, but they're projecting their own fear upon you. It can mess with you if you're not prepared for it, because it's just like, why am I compelled to live a certain way and to be genuine or to do something, and then I have my family or friends or people who are telling me that I'm crazy, that I can't do this, that's not possible, I'm going to get hurt, that it's going to hurt other people, or whatever they're saying. And so much of that, if not the entirety of it, is their own fear being projected onto whomever they're saying, in this case, you, me, us. And to a young, undeveloped soul mind, individual, that can be, this can screw somebody up, you guys. It can cause a lot of self-doubt, and that can make the journey really hard. And so this is why, the message for this is just it's to be aware of vibrations. I know I labeled things high vibe, mid vibe, low vibe, but it's really about being authentic to your own vibration. The format that I created for today was to kind of help explain the situation from my own perspective, as what I would consider a high vibe person, where it's just a typical high vibe point of view is just we're the creators, so we can make it however we want to. If things are bad, it's because we've made them bad. If things are good, it's because we've made them good. We've really claimed a big aspect, if the most important aspect. I don't want to say that. It's a very important aspect of humanity, and a lot, I think, of what the mid-vibe people have forgotten about. And definitely the low vibe people, but it's so inverse sometimes. The low vibe people express more outward power because of their insecurity, and so they actually end up doing a lot more because, in a very real sense, they have less to lose. The mid vibe people are kind of caught in this between state where they're not free, but they're not really trapped either. And so that's why we're here. That's why this is going on. And I think ultimately, if we really want to get down to it, you guys, I'm kind of exposing a lot of shit here, because I'm not part of any cult. I'm not part of any club. I'm by myself. I mean, we got our soul fam, we got our collective, we got the telepathic stuff going on, but I'm not part of any kind of fraternity, any club, or nothing. All right. If I'm revealing stuff, it's just because I'm picking up on it, all right? And any of us can. I mean, a lot of the stuff that they do and that they say, it's obvious. I mean, they're putting it out there, man. And it's because they are you. They are you on a certain level. And I know that's gonna be crazy to hear, But it's just like, this is why I also want the high vibe people, especially, to kind of take a step back in a good way, where the high mid vibe people, especially the high mid vibe people, it's not about making the low vibe people wrong. All right, it's about making ourselves healthy, like, is the best way to put it. We make ourselves healthy and we focus on ourselves. If other people are doing their own, if we're focusing on ourselves, then we're taking care of ourselves. And so if other people aren't focusing on themselves, they aren't taking care of themselves. And that might seem like a very, very selfish way, but if you have empathy, you start to see this and you start to understand the consequence of things. And so you see that taking care of yourself is being an example. And then as you take care of yourself, you are showing the example to the world that they can take care of themselves too. So yeah, we'll end on that, you guys. All right. Love you, my soul fam. I'm so glad you're here. You give me blessings every single day. I'm gonna keep making videos. We'll see. I'm gonna try to do one inside, maybe inside my room. We'll see. And so, peace, you guys. You know, we are the change we've wanted to see, and we're here. We're already here, you guys. So peace and love out.